seconds and then it came back on. Oh crap, no volume. Oh shit. Okay. Okay, so it came back on. Okay. Yeah, okay. We're good. Whew, okay. Oh man, if it ain't one thing, it's another, right, everybody? And thank you everybody for being here. Looks like we got most of our regular folks in today. And right now, let's pop a top. And let's start this off right.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Yes, all systems so far nominal. We'll see how long that lasts. So let me let my whistle here. In the type of cup I would have, my trainees were in front of me when I was like, basically, don't bother me this morning. All right. First things first. Again, thank you for everybody being here, and let's jump straight into it. And first, we're going to go over everything over the past week, which has been a little busy. I've been trying to get back on the horse and get everything going. And I started out with perishable goods as a one-off. And I'm actually surprised that... Oh, wait, hold on. What the hell's going on? I spy with my little eye a $5 super chat from the SS Demon. And super, or let me get this right, super sticker. And that was just about it. Thank you very much, Demon. And thank you much. And I don't have a, well, oh shit, where is it? Well, actually, this is for everybody. All right. I kind of got to find a way to make that a little shorter. Anyway, thank you, Demon. And we're going to jump into perishable goods. I actually have the notes for it right here where I was actually writing everything. And something surprised me. You guys didn't actually catch the pun on the name. The name of the main species that was not human. The Gracefell, as in a pretty species that is Gracefell. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And we'll get into a few more names that I don't think you guys catched. But anyways, there wasn't much as far as the comment section, so I'm not going to stay on here. When I started doing this one, yes, I'm going to be doing one-offs for a while, just to kind of get everything back in. The numbers have been looking a lot better as soon as I started doing one-offs, so I'm going to switch off of that. And I'm going to switch up to, where did you get that? You have something of mine. And
hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Something is right, because I see a $5 super sticker from Erica Gem. She is so outrageous that she comes here every single week, and thank you so much. And I see right below her, Demon, we need the rain to stop. I need the rain. We're in a drought conditions here. And what the fuck is that we have an MTF guard here. And let me get this down. And he comes in with a $10 super chat. And he says, greetings, my fellow sinners. I hope you're all doing good this week. Also, sorry no clips this week. Had one for Hydro Thunder, 2 and 15 seconds long, and the file was too large to send, even compressed. Okay, I'm just going to get this out of the way. I got a whole bunch of videos sent to me by a certain person who usually prefers to be remain nameless. However, we all know who he is. And unfortunately, he sent it with no audio at all. And I'm not one of those guys that, because, and not to mention when I play the videos, I can't talk. It's part of StreamYards here. I can't speak over it. So I can't just sit there, oh man, that's kind of cool doing this. It doesn't work. So, you know, as those were some good video clips too. Kind of spooky, kind of woohoo. Couldn't use them, which is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate because he sent me a whole bunch and I wanted to use them. I went through every single one twice and nothing. I think because the mic was turned off. But anyways, hey, guard, if you think it'll send at all, go ahead and send it. If it'll send it all, I'll look into it and see if it, of course, has to have audio. I did that one time, guys. I won't do it again. One sec. Bubbles are tickling my nose, but whatever. All right. Back to where did you get that? And yes, a few folks said, I didn't expect that to be going the way it did. And I will say I had a lot of trouble with the special effects. I had to actually fix it twice. I had to resave it to put the special effects in. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. Somebody said that they thought I would just replace the leadership when he said, I'm not the leader, he's the leader. Guys, that just dropped into my head as I was writing. And you know where that comes from? You ever seen the Clone Wars with the droids? And I guarantee right now, if you're like, oh, son of a bitch. And that's just the way it goes. Now, on that same thing, I'm going to just read off, and I probably mispronounced these when I was doing the recordings. However, I'm going to try and get a few of these. The top three of the not-so-friendly species, you had a species called Pinta, named Deke. If you speak another language, you understand where that goes. And I'm probably mispronouncing some of these. You got a Kipka called Vag. Again, if you know the if you know the other language, and this one's fairly common, the Milth named Churi. And it wasn't Pinta, it's Pintu named Deke. So yeah, I went in just as a joke. I tried to make the names kind of questionable for you, just to try and catch, but nobody put it in the comments section. Because usually when you guys put that in the comment section, like, oh, I recognize this, then everybody jumps in. It's like, oh shit, that was funny. So anyway, yeah, I just want to put that in. Hopefully, you guys that speak other languages understand what that means, and you're getting a kick out of it. All right, like I said, not too much as far as the comment section on that, but we had your new companion. And you guys know I don't do a lot of these where it's a human with a potential not so human mate, even though she looks human. This one got a little weird. This one was actually thought up when I was like, what is the biggest problem with immortality? Now, I've actually gone in deep contemplation on this one, and it comes down to boredom, straight up boredom. Once you've learned all the instruments, you've read all the books and all the text, you've watched all the videos, nothing is new to you, nothing's going to thrill you, you're just bored out of your skull. And when people get bored out of their skull for about a century, they might actually lose it. Now, kicker is, in Interview with a Vampire, believe it or not, they had the same issue. That is why the older vampire actually turned the younger one into a vampire. He wanted a connection with the new age because he was flat out bored. He had no thrill in his life. It is what it is. Now, as far as the companion, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Somebody was mentioning how they would prefer me to do retrofuturism. And on that note, what the fuck is retrofuturism? Is that cyberpunk? Is that with a steampunk aesthetic with modern or future tech? I don't understand. You're going to have to spell that one out to me. And so, yeah, on that one. Also, somebody said that this one could go in a lot more directions. Absolutely, it could. Absolutely. And for the love of God, somebody better be dying, guys, because I got to look to see who's calling. Okay, fuck all them. That's a robocall. They can freaking suck my nuts as far as I'm concerned. Goddamn robocalls can piss right the fuck off. You know how you can tell it's a robocall? When you answer it, or when you pick up the phone, don't answer it. Give it a couple of seconds. It's a real person. They'll know you answered. Don't, and for the love of God, don't say yes, because now they can use the AI in your voice to grab that. So And so fuck all those robocalls. Fuck them in the ass with a friggin' 2x4. Oh, wait, that's what they do every Tuesday. We'll wrap it in concertina wire with no lube. Then they might actually feel it because it's so friggin' messed up back there. Anyway, now I would like to see, or hear, I should say, where you guys think this one should go, because there are so many directions I could go with this one. Even though, like I was saying before, the humanity's kind of linked together in their own little family units, and they all like fly together and stuff like that. If you guys have a specific way that you want a certain clan to operate or something like that, that's all fine. And I'll see what I can do about integrating it. But for right now, this is a standalone. All right. Like I said, not a lot in the comments section there. So we're moving right along with a reaction to humans. Not what is, just a reaction to humans. Why? Oh, I do have to say this. We had a new guy come into the chat or the comment section by the name of Clinton. New guy. Hopefully he's here. And I'm all for new folks. He missed the getting in on the game a whole bunch.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
What that is a $10 super chat from our wonderful man on his hog. That is Brian Kemp right there. Mr. He loved the Judge Dredd. As far as I gave him on that one. So, yeah, and oh, shit. See, I don't have any extra buttons on here, so I'm just going to go back to an old faithful.
What? What the fuck?
And we also have another $10 from the Guardian Sage. And let me finish writing it. And he says, retro futuristic is what sci-fi stuff produced around the time of the original Star Trek would be considered, as well as anything newer made in the same style. I'm trying to think what else was made in the same style besides like the more recent CGI Transformers. But okay. I see where this is going. Retro future. Okay. I understand the concept now. So thank you for clearing that up there, Sage. And thank you to you and Brian. Appreciate you both. I think my body's like desperate for sugar. This is the first soda I've had in almost 2 weeks. Actually, no, a week since last time we were on here. Anyway, thanks guys for clearing that up. As far as the reaction to human, what do I have here? Yes. Somebody said with this one, the reaction to everybody rushing in to buy goods is like everything from Taco Tuesday. And it took me a second to realize that, or realize what you're talking about, because guys, for the past 20 years, I was in a job where we didn't even know what Taco Tuesday was. It wasn't a thing. So yeah. So let's see. On comments on that were quick also. And on to the most recent one. What is wrong with these humans? That was actually another one. I do have to say, you guys jumped these up to number one as like number one views in the past 10. I can't thank you enough for that. That is a huge like mental bonus for me. All right. There was only one really comment on there. Most everybody just playing the game and also saying good story, which I appreciate that. Every comment is always thankful. But there was, welcome to the mobile infantry. And I guarantee that's because he knows exactly where this was inspired from. And yes, if you've watched the Starship Troopers CGI movies, which were honestly better, the original live action is still a cult classic. However, the CGI ones do a much better job staying close to the original. Like when you see on the screen, the suits they're actually wearing do actually look like giant gorillas because of how broad the shoulders and everything are to put all the machinery there, which make them look like giant walking apes, which is why, hey, you apes, you want to live forever. Yeah. And even on there, again, storyline on the bounce. When they say on the bounce, it means two different things. Either hurry your ass up or hit your freaking retro or your boosters and jump pack your ass away because you're about to be plasma shot into friggin' all sorts of melty little bits. And that would be bad. So I mean, it's still one of the best books I've ever read. If you ever get a chance to listen to the audio, it's great. I don't ever do the audio over because honestly, if I did the audio and put it on this channel, I could be in some serious legal trouble. That's straight up perjury or plagiarism right there. So, anyways, on that. Oh, for the soundboard, I want to say it was recommended that I put on the Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. My computer, when I went to download one of those, had a freaking stroke. So I held off on that. I'm going to try again for next week to try and get it. But it is what it is. Still, that's pretty much all the notes. We blew through all of those in like 17 minutes because there really wasn't a whole lot. And I hope you guys who, again, speak other languages know exactly how the Pintu, the Kipka, the Melt, and how all those, what those different words mean. Anyways, you guys have been awesome being here so far. And before I break away into the what's going on for the past week as far as things like video games, movies, and everything like that, let's watch one of these fun videos. And how about, say, a classic? Let's kick one through the uprights.
That's short. Adjust up.
You know, I just realized something. That when he fired that shot, he caught the enemy straight in the ass, man. Right there. Plugged him. All right. I just want to throw that one in. I didn't want to wait. All right. On to the notes as far as what's going on. Now, the majority of what's been going on as far as pop culture entertainment that we deal with as far as science fiction and fantasy, the big stuff has been in video games. Not all of it, but most of it. Reason being is because most of the movie stuff has pretty much taken a backseat to all the issues we've had over here in the good old US of A over the past week, and as some big shit that's happened today too. So again, we're going to try and stay away from politics as best we can, but let's break these down. All right, first things first, I will say apparently they're trying to bring back the Mandalorian, bringing Mandalorian and Grogu. They're not even trying to just say the Mandalorian anymore. It's like they're trying to take the main character out of the story. I'm sorry, but no. If they're going to do that, what's the fucking point? Just have a different show based on a different character, please. They want to wrap it around friggin' the woman who plays, what's her name? The red-haired girl, Katan, Bo-Katan, or whatever. If they want to do that, then put her as the named character. This whole dance around that they're doing, no. No. Just because Disney got a Kennedy up the ass doesn't mean that we need to take a Kennedy up the ass. The show was good and it lost its footing. Could I put it back on a straight and narrow? Absolutely, I could. It wouldn't even be that difficult. Although there's a certain woman who's very broad and carries a very big weapon in that show who I would bring back very, very quickly. And that's not Ahsoka. All right. Now, like I was saying, video games. You guys, now I know some of you guys are big gamers, MTF Guard, and all the rest. A lot of these video games are getting ratioed down. I don't know if you've seen this, but the Black Ops 7 trailer, it just dropped recently, and it has been ratioed into the damn dirt. I haven't even watched it yet, and it made the gaming news. Well, it made the entertainment news. I'm just like, wow, really? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. You would think Black Ops would be doing well, but you guys have actually told me that Black Ops has been kind of losing its way lately. I don't know why. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, this is the whole thing. If you lose a customer, you've most likely lost them for life. That is business, strict business, but they don't want to accept that. They just expect everybody to come back. I'm like, that's not how that works. It just doesn't work that way ever. So I'm pretty sure most of you guys, let me know as if, let's see, Guard's actually jumping in and says, because Black Ops 7 trailer directly criticized the established lore of the previous Black Ops game. Boom, fucking beer me or drink me. I got a blood draw tomorrow. I can't drink. But yeah, if you lose consistency, you lose the story, you lose the audience. Duh, everything in order. It's absolutely crazy. Another one that got ratioed into the fucking dirt is Splinter Cell. Now, I have never played Splinter Cell, so I have no real opinion on this. All I know is everybody sitting there going, what the fuck just happened? It's just absolutely crazy. So I'm not going to go too much into that one. If you guys want to put something in the comments or in the chats, I will gladly read it on that because you can enlighten me. There's another one that, again, I never got into these. Vampire Masquerade. Apparently that was supposed to be a really good series, and apparently the pre-orders are just not there at all. I don't. Again, you're going to have to enlighten me on this. Something called Rebooted was a complete and total flop, and they spent several years putting that one together. And here's one that just, I was like, wow, because I heard about this game, Ghost of Yotai, I'm going to mispronounce that. Ghosts of Yoder. I'm just going to call it Yoder. Yodelahu. And here's a fun one. When you have a bunch of pre-orders and you drop the trailer and everybody wants their money back, you know you're in trouble because that pre-order money is a big deal in the gaming industry. It is huge. A lot of times that's how they're trying to pay off the game because they've actually gone into debt making it. Without that pre-order money, they are fucked. And it's just absolutely crazy. I mean, that's a whole bunch of games that are coming out that, again, I know you guys are gamers. What the fuck, Over? Why are the games so bad? I don't get a chance to play them. I mean, like I said, I got games around the house I haven't touched in months. It is what it is. But yeah, you guys are gonna have to fill in the blanks on this one. All right, on to more, I guess you could say, pop culture news. Apparently, Jimmy Kimmel, as he somehow he's going back on the air, and all I gotta do is ask this question: why? He wasn't funny. He was never funny. He could play off Corolla when he did the Man Show. They worked together because they were kind of an odd couple. That's how that works. That's the basis of Buddy Cop. They're playing off each other. But the thing is, a lot of times, if they play off each other, neither is strong enough to be a main character. That's kind of what makes it work. Don't get me wrong. Adam Carolla, he's just funny to listen to. He's goofy, so you better be drunk when you listen to him. But Kimmel's not funny. And the kicker is, I know exactly the exact moment those two stopped working together. It was on an episode of The Man Show. And Kimmel sat down, and he sat down kind of crooked, and he grabbed his friggin' junk and moved these like little adjustment here. And Carolla goes, "Oh, that won't take long." You watch Kimmel's eyes. Just watch his eyes. He is so pissed at that point. He is on the very verge of jumping up and beating the hell out of his co-host. But honestly, I don't think the guy had the sack to do it anyway. So whatever. I don't want to go too much into the political stuff. But, it just kind of goes in. And by the way, what you're looking at up there, that's 100% CGI. I double checked. You can tell actually by the background. The background is obviously CGI, but everything there is CGI. It's crazy. This stuff's getting really good. And apparently the coders are in trouble because now the machines can code themselves. It's kind of messed up, but I've said for a long time, technology is going to put us all out of work. Look how much trouble HFY is having with all the AI bullshit. My stuff still gets buried. I was actually talking to somebody in the gym this week, within the past week, and I told him about that. I'm getting unsubscribed from folks. He pulled up his, he looked, and he's like, and the whole thing's, son of a bitch. And he quickly resubscribed. I'm like, what the fuck, over? What the fuck? Oh, man, it makes me just want to throw up the banner here. Make sure that you are still subscribed. And don't forget to like if you wouldn't mind. Okay, since I don't want the... Oh, damn it, wrong thing. Don't need the banner up there the whole time. I know that's not why you guys are here. So let me change the channel a little bit, just a little bit. Oh, hold on. Let me change both channels at the same time. Woo! All right. I haven't heard too much about 3i Atlas lately, except for the fact that it's glowing a different color. So if you guys have heard anything, by all means, put it in the comment or in the chat box over there, and we will definitely go over that. But before that, I'm going to throw on another quick video so I can get another item up here. And let's see. I have no idea what I'm looking at, but I'm going to go with clip 26. All right, now that we felled the Night Lord, we're going to scroll back up here. And, we got a few new folks in here. Ancient Traveler. I haven't seen that one before. Oh, you changed your name. Okay. Why not? All right. I'll go, okay, right here. Lego. I'm going to start here with Lego Fleet Battles after he says hello. He says, haha, Star Wars meme. I got that. War Sniper saying that with the Clone Wars reference. I did react on that video about the reference. Okay. Hey, as long as you guys laugh or cry or whatever the hell you're going to do, I do have to say this. I do have to hold up 1 second on this and say two quick things. One, there is going to be a video dropping tonight. So all you guys putting your stuff on, and by the way, Prozac and Pancakes, if you're listening, you still got this week, man. You don't have to throw anything in. You're still going to get your shout out. For anybody who's new, the rule is anybody that drops a bill or better as a super chat, you get 4 weeks guaranteed of shout outs. If you put anything as a super chat or super sticker on here, you get a shout out at the end of the video every week. So that's the one part I had to do. And the second thing is I am about halfway done with the next episode of Something Familiar. The only thing stopping me is the fact that it seems like every time I get started, somebody's like, hey, can you help me out? I'm like, fuck. So it is what it is. Let's see. Demon says, it feels weird. I don't have to leave for work tonight. Start my new job on Monday. Hey, there's congratulations. New job. Good luck on that, my friend. Good luck on that. And now let's see. Oh, by the way, Chris, I see your thing. I can type, kind of. Yeah, me too. Why do you think I put everything out longhand like this? I mean, seriously, I kind of have to. I can't. Unfortunately, I used to be able to do about 50 words a minute. And then I got a flu shot and I ended up on one knee on the ground watching the entire world start to close on me. And then I thought for sure I was going to die. And about 2 seconds later, started to open back up. When I got back to the office, I started typing and it was like my fingers were dyslexic. I had to reteach myself how to type. And now I'm lucky to get 20 words a minute, if that. And that I'd still have to go back and correct them, everything like crazy. It's horrible. So yeah, and no needle is going to enter my skin if I can help it. Anyways, Chris, I did get your email with your updated story. Unfortunately, my printer took a shit. So when I go to print it out again, I'll get it to go up. So be ready for that. All right. Chris says, I like talking dirty to the scammers and Mormons. You know the best way to get a Mormon or a Jehovah's Witness or whoever to actually back away? Answer the door naked. I'm not even kidding. All you have to do is say, hi, how you doing? Have your friggin' tackle hanging there. Believe me, they'll back away. And if they don't, you better have a pistol somewhere close. Although, Erica, don't do that. They might actually start thinking happy thoughts on you. So yeah, don't do that. All right. Douglas says, math and engineering, always a good direction. Abso-fucking-lutely. Actually, my niece is having some problems with the math, but it actually has to go with the fact that she doesn't really want to turn in her homework. Let's see. Alan, looks like he wants more on the story, new companion. I will put a big old star right next to that one right now. Oh, the thing is, I can do a star just in one solid motion. A lot of people thought I was demonic when I do that. I'm like, I'm not circling it, you jerk. So yeah, if later on after I'm done doing a bunch of shorts, I will look into that. Ancient Traveler, I enjoyed the reactions of humans. Good story, but maybe not for a long form. Okay. Let's see. Erica, retro futuristic. Okay, like you guys said, Tron, Star Trek, the original Lost in Space. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. When I did an actual time travel, and now I'm not sure if I actually put it to, no, I did. I put it to audio, and believe it or not, Lost in Space actually helped me through one of the things because it was all about somebody who gets recruited to be a chrononaut, a time traveler, and he actually watches a video and sees how things changed over time, and it originally looked like shit out of Lost in Space. And even back then, they're using TV and movies to make everybody like, oh, wait, I remember seeing this crazy technology. And they're like, no, you just saw that in a movie or something like that because it looked exactly the same, right? It's called plausible deniability. And there's the
Guardian Sage.
With originals, not remakes or sequels. Oh, you don't want me to do sequels? That's horrible. Okay. I know you're talking more about the movies and whatnot. Alan says, speaking of the game, I'm going to back off and let the others have a chance. Hey, no problem. Oh, by the way, Alan, again, I got to say this. If you guys want a certain photo or a certain style, like Guard sends me a bunch of stuff. Erica, she sent me a few things, and then I was able to go a little crazy on some other stuff. Demon, I mean, that one's easy. Brian, He let me know that he's a bike rider, so I aimed there. You know, Steve he's Doc, so it's if there's something in particular, you gotta let me know. Either that or I'm flapping in the breeze, and you get what you get. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. Okay. All right, Lenin says Fallout games considered to be retrofuturism. It's 2077 with 1950 culture and technology. Yes, I did notice that. Well, almost 1950 technology. It's a more advanced 1950. I see where you're getting at on that. I swear, every time I start drinking soda, I just want to drink more. Crazy. Maybe there's something in it my body wants. Maybe because I'm losing weight. Anyways. Okay, Ancient Traveler. Hey, Sin, I got a question for you. Have you forgotten about the Discord server that was made for you? No, I haven't forgot about it. Actually, I look at it just about every day. It's just a lot of times I just skim it real quick and I don't really get into it because, again, by the time I get back from the gym, have breakfast, and get everything going, I'm already getting phone calls. Hey, can you help me out? Or in the garden or like today I had to chase some chickens around for about an hour. That wasn't fun. And of course, it really wasn't fun when they got scared by lightning and they'll jump up in your face like, "Ah!" Actually, I got to make a whole new server. And I will say this for my other channel. Let me grab my notes for that one here. The Crazy Uncle channel. Now, that one's can lean very politically. Doesn't always have to. But I've got a couple of lists here of I'm going to be making shorts for it. And these are going to be really in depth. So again, if you want to stick with escapism, this is not what you're going to go for. But I got one here. What's a good one here? I don't want to get too political. Okay. Okay. Here's a good one. Any guy wants honor or be honored. Every guy knows that. And and I say it that way because being honored as a guy is different between being honored as a woman. You can be honored as a woman, absolutely, but it's different with guys. With guys, you want honored, but to get that honor, you absolutely have to have respect. But to get the respect, you have to have unwavering integrity. And to do that, you have to have the personal courage for the integrity. However, once you have done all that and you are honored, guess what? It is your duty to elevate others to do so. And believe it or not, that all falls under the core values of the Army. So, yeah, that's a fun one. And believe it or not, pretty much exactly how I did that is how I'm going to do the video for that. And they're going to be going over to there. So, anyway, when I do that, that's all going to go on TikTok and the other channel. And as far as the Discord, I'm going to make an entire new one, and I will be posting that as soon as it's made. And I really got to get my shit together here. But yes, Traveler, it's, yeah. Let's see. Chris says, by the way, I bombed that date last week. It was going well until she challenged me to skee ball. She said if I win, we can do whatever I want next. Well, I won and we got ice cream. Then realized, oh, hold on.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Well, what it is you're going by what you were taught, just like I was, to treat somebody with respect. And then all of a sudden you don't realize times have kind of shifted, kind of back to the 60s on that. So I don't know what to tell you on that one, man. I really don't know. I've had my fair share of bad dates. One of my favorites, of course, was when we sat down. She ordered an appetizer along with her entree. And then before the appetizer even got there, she said, oh, my friends are here. I just got to go say hi. I had finished off the appetizer, which was meant for 2 people, and my entree by the time she returned. And then she complained her food was cold. And then had the ovaries to complain to me that, oh, how come you don't want a second date? Gee, let me think on that one. Oi. So don't worry. It could have been worse. Just remember, you could have found out your date wasn't a woman. That's the worst case scenario. Well, one of them. Anyway, Lena says some anime look like 80s, but still in the future because it's sci-fi. Actually, one of the old 80s and 90s movies called Armitage, with some of the technology that's coming out now, that's going to be a whole lot closer to the truth than people think. If you guys haven't seen that, Armitage the Third, it's the underlying reason why all the craziness is happening. That's what you got to listen to. All right, Lena says, well, technically, first Alien movie is retrofuturism because the technology looks very old, but it's set in the future. Yep. That's true, but a lot of times that's because they were working with what they had. I gotta say that, like their APC, they literally just cobbled a bunch of shit together that had absolutely no practical purpose whatsoever. When you actually break down the design, it's a shit design for any type of actual personnel carrier. A personnel carrier needs to be extremely fast, extremely agile, able to go anywhere, carry enough firepower to not only punch its way through, but also support those on the ground while it withdraws. So, yeah, no, just no. It looked good for its time. Looked great for its time. Chris says Metropolis will be the first one I can think of, but Plan 9 is better by being terrible. I'm missing something here. Okay, we got Eric. Hey, Eric, how you doing? Mando is okay, but I'm more interested in Tony and Ziva. Tony and Ziva. Why is it? I'm trying to remember. Oh, wait, the guy that. Okay. What's his name? The comedian he played. I think that's what you're talking about. I wasn't a huge follower of the Mando ones because it got kind of silly. If you're walking around with armor that can't be punched through, no matter how much they shoot it, I mean, that's almost going full retard. The only thing that even helps is the fact that it has gaps in it. If they plug up those gaps with like a type of Mandalorian chainmail, then they've gone full retard. And you never go full retard, man. Never go full retard. Let's see. Guard here says, like it directly, criticizes Black Ops 2 entire story. Oh, he's talking about Black Ops 7. Criticizes Black Ops 2 entire story and the entire point that you have multiple choices to have different circumstances. They gave up on those types of video games, and I think those are better. I think those are a lot better when you actually have a whatever choice or whatever mission you do or don't succeed at, it changes the way the story goes, and you have all these multiple endings. Those are great. Back in the day, those were all over the place for PC games, and that you're talking, it would take you days to finish one, but then you go back, it's like, well, instead of going down the right corridor on the very first mission, how about I go down the left corridor? And then you finish that way. And then you go, well, if I went down the right corridor this again, however, but in the next mission, I chose this and all just different branches. And I think that's so much better. It took a whole lot more to do those, but it was, to me, it was worth it. Yeah, Chris saying, yeah, and the players are toxic as hell. Yeah, if I want to hear some child cursing and talking all sorts of crap and being all racist, I'll just go to the closest city down here. Last time I was over there, it's almost like I was back in Hawaii. They kept calling me honky and howly and all sorts of shit. So anyway, Demon says, with the exception of Genshin Impact, I pretty much just play indie games anymore. Yeah, that seems to be where everybody's going. Indie as an independent, and anybody who's not in the know. For a while, I thought indie games as in India, it's not, no. But yeah, the indie games are really, really kicking in. They're kicking in a lot more. But a few studios are trying to get in or trying to get back. So we'll see how it goes. Lenin says, the problem with immortality is that eventually it will kill you based on statistics. Random act of violence is what you're getting at. Yes. I believe the movie that they talked about that was called In Time. They had some pretty boy on there who suddenly was like the most badass of badasses for some reason. And all the time was on your arm. How many hours, minutes, days, seconds, years, however long it was. And he got like well over a century, but it's currency. But what they were doing is they were using the inflation of the currency to actually kill people off so that they didn't have massive population boom. One thing that is completely and utterly missed, if say immortality was a possibility tomorrow, every single person living today could bring themselves back to the peak of their prime, there would be a lot of freaking violence. Okay, the population would take a nosedive after that. 2, there would be a lot of folks who would just be like, fuck this shit, I'm out, kabang. Do a whole, let's go up to Canada and talk to a maid, hint, hint, and stuff like that. And then you would have a lot of folks saying, okay, I'm immortal, but how about I have a quick surgery so I can't have kids? The population would not explode nearly as fast as people think it would. In actuality, it would take a nosedive and stay level for a long time. Now, would there be certain people who would still be popping out kids once every year? Yes, and they would become social pariahs and they would be kicked out of society, them and their family included. And everybody was saying, how could you possibly do that, you heartless bastard? They're trying to come in and take every single resource I have and telling me to go hit the bricks. I don't think so. I mean, immortality is just as harsh as mortality. But yes, statistically, eventually something will get you. I'm not going to debate that one. You just got to make sure you're in the right headspace. Well, try to be in the headspace when that happens. Guard says, like one of those things for it. Hold on. Did I miss something? No, I didn't. Okay. Like one of the things for it was that at the end of Black Ops 2, you kill Raul Menendez with a point-blank gunshot to the head, ow. But now all of a sudden, he's back and he's more than alive. Or how that with Black Ops 6, the retconned the entire fact that the character from Black Ops 1 and halfway through Black Ops 2, Mason, is still alive. But come Black Ops 6, nope, he's dead. Like Black Ops 2 established a bunch of key points in the games, and then you have Black Ops 6 and 7, which just spits in the face of everything that you were told, and that's why everybody's angry. Sounds a lot like Halo to me. Remember how they did, they switched from Microsoft to 343? 343 hired a whole bunch of people that hated Halo, which is why after Halo 3, everything sucked so much. Oh my God. It sucked the sweaty nuts of a dead man. I mean, it was terrible. Oh man, who the fuck wanted Locke? Nobody wanted Locke. Nobody. I mean, did I appreciate them bringing back the character Buck from ODST? That was great. The other two characters are one-trick ponies and have, 6 lines of dialogue in the entire fucking thing? That's it? 343 hated what they were doing, and it showed. It was so stupid. And the one thing that pissed off everybody amongst everything else was the fucking Guardians. If you had that sort of technology, you don't give a fuck about the Flood at all. You're just going to roll one of those things in and just do what us infantry guys do when the LT is gone. So, kill everybody? Yep. Scorched motherfucking earth, man. It annoys me when people do that. You have a set narrative. You have set characters. Stop fucking with it. Okay. Deep breaths. Goose Fraba. Whew. Okay. All right. Chris says, Vampire the Masquerade is great for people who don't know which bathroom to use. Really? How to use now. But, oh, hold on. But it used to be a social game that was fun until the fans got weird. Okay, I will take your word for that. And then he says, I went for the goth girls. You know what? Now, oh, great. You know what? I'm going to have to try and bring in a certain image now. Really quick. Let me find it. And it's going to take a second for that to upload. So let me try here. Where was I? Okay. Traveler, have you tried putting videos of space battles in your background for your audio in? And if not, why not? I haven't looked into how to do that yet. You're right, I should. Although, Chris, this one's for you. You know, if you're looking at the screen, I guarantee you're laughing your butt off. Actually, when I did any type of video where I talked about like an evil woman, I usually use this one for Guardian Sage. Anyways, all right. But yeah, as far as putting stuff in the background, the only other person I know who does that sort of thing, he said you have to get an entire green screen behind you, and I don't even know where to pick one of those up. Demon says, I'm so confused by my comment situation. Some people can see them now and others still can't. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on with that. I swear, whatever you did you date somebody at YouTube and not call them back after you rearrange their insides like a torpedo? Or, you know, get that deep inside and explode on the inside and twist everything up and break the hull, you know, the back of the ship and hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Because that's all I can think of. You piss somebody off. Lena says, I've not been paying attention to the new games. Yeah, they all suck. And they all suck hard. And not in a good way. I'm in the bottom left corner. What? Okay, I don't know where you're going with that. I didn't change anything here. Anyways, Demon says, I would have sent more clips, but my email was so full. Oh, I'm so full, man. So I'm currently deleting all my old shit while watching the stream so I can send more clips. Okay, good to know. You mean more clips like, say... Nope, I'm going to save that one for later. How about you just blasting people with a friggin' cannon?
They're in our base.
Got it. Oh, hell yeah. That was beautiful. Oh, I see him. Boom. One down.
And again.
Two down.
Enemy coordinates have been sent to
Enjoying your booster shots? Well, the idiots on our team unlocked the door and ran out of it.
Yeah.
And armored vehicle is down. When the fuck did they arm A?
B's the important one, in my opinion.
Okay, well, you guys were doing that. I was trying to get something else in, and for some reason, this thing jumped all over the place. And unfortunately, as I scroll up, I see that Eric had to leave, so we'll see you later, Eric. And see you next time, my friend. All right. Traveler says, I remember one time you said my name and got copyrighted if you shouted me out, so I changed it. Okay. No problems there. Let's see. Sin. In the next coming days, I will send a group of clips. All right, cool. There you go. And let's see, scrolling down here. Leonid, he says, I did enjoy listening to the Star Wars AI videos with Jedi discussion on philosophy. The Force is a morally good because it sends Ahsoka, newest child soldier, to the battlefield. Yeah, that's real good. The kicker is the Sith do stuff just as bad. Again, I was stuck with a guy who was a Star Wars encyclopedia, so he told me a lot of that stuff, and a lot of it I'm sitting there going, are you fucking kidding me? And he was very, very pissed when I was not the only one. A bunch of us pointed out that the Jedi were not good people, not at all. They were not protectors of the weak or anything like that. They were just evil, evil people obsessed with their own power. At least the Sith are honest about it. I can respect that. At least they're honest about it. Now, I will say this, even though I'm not a big fan of all the Star Wars, now I think Ahsoka, before the live action woman screwed it up horribly, I think that was great. Rex is still one of my favorite characters. That being said, most everything else they've screwed up, and they've always sugarcoated it. However, the people that are deep in the lore, there's one channel, I don't remember where it was. It's something about Sith teachings or whatever. It's only like 2-minute videos at a time, but they're really good. And it makes you wonder, is anybody on this planet a Jedi, or are we all Sith? I mean, just look at their code and try to figure that one out. All right. Alan says, here's a thought. Jules Verne shooting drop pods from cannon from the planets. Oh, man. Oh, just the concept of that is making me laugh, man. Okay. Jules Verne doesn't even, I don't think he would even conceive of drop pods, for one. Could he launch somebody from a cannon? Perhaps. His cannons were technology from the time, but talk about retrofuturism with a lot of the stuff he was talking about. Demon says, God willing, I have an idea for a prequel to Unknown Fleet. Ooh, I wonder. And ideas for a sequel to the series. I'll try to get them done before I start my new job Monday. The prequel will be a standalone story with minor ties to the sequel. Will mostly just be ideas to bounce off of. Okay. Now, like I said, I should have had it right next to me so I don't have to go and reach for it. I still have everything printed out for the original fleet. And for anybody who doesn't know, when Demon sent me everything for the fleet, he sent me a lot of technical stuff. It was the actual, not much in the story itself. However, it was more than enough to work with. So if there's something you guys want, again, email down below in the Meat Gazer box. I saw you looking, and you guys can send me whatever. And I will go through. I do check my emails fairly regularly. Not as much as I should, but fairly regularly. And hopefully we find out something good. Okay, let's see. Lenin says, dark side exists because the Force wants to test people. See, I disagree with that for one simple reason. You can't have light without dark. You can't have dark without light. They are two sides of the same coin. It's just the way things are. You can't have a negative without a positive. If you had a positive without a negative, the negative would be neutral. Not positive. It wouldn't be negative. It would just be neutral. And it would never, ever move. It would have no meaning. But once it has a negative, now the positive has a meaning and contradicts the negative. That's just the balance, man. The balance of the Force. That's what they keep messing up. That's why when they said the chosen one will bring balance, everybody read into it with rose-colored glasses in their flowery way. Oh, they're going to just end all the Sith and everything's going to be joyous and happy. And we're all going to sing Kumbaya and rainbows are going to shoot out unicorns and their farts are going to be cotton candy and all this other fun crap. And I'm just like, what the hell? If you look at it in the beginning, you had an army of Jedi and a grand total of 2 Sith. Actually 3 if you want to break it down for sure, but 2 that were actual Sith, because only 2, no more, no less. They kept their code. By the end of the schism and the clones just capping everybody off, you had a grand total of 2 Sith and 2 Jedi. How is that out of balance again? You know, with the 2 and anyway. It's the thing is you got to be careful with any precursor or somebody telling you what the future is, because a lot of times it's in a way that you don't fully understand because everybody has their biases. Okay, see, Chris says honor is great, but I've always been willing to do the greatest good by being the bad guy. What can I say? I always aim to misbehave. On that, there's an old phrase that a group made into a song called "Sometimes the darkness can show you the light." Boom, fucking beer me. I think I will. But you are correct there, Chris. You are 100% correct. Let's see. Doug says, as far as the Army Corps values, I remember as a drill sergeant, some of my troops. Oh, you were a drill. Oh, that's right, Doug. You were a drill too. Duh. I'm an idiot. Some of my troops I trained went to Gulf War I and almost came back, and almost all came back. The ones that didn't was from artillery. Ouch. Normally, actually, from the artillery, you don't feel that. Your insides and to include the gray matter is goo before you realize what happened. Or he could be like a buddy of mine who tried to step off the Humvee and then slowly climb back in. He said, "Nobody move. I almost stepped on a landmine." Yeah, that was a fun day, as in not at all. But yeah, the one thing with the values, it's also the standards. And the standard, believe it or not, keeps you alive. Okay, Guard says, Jesus Christ, I've been playing Generation Zero for like half the stream, and I've been stuck in the same firefight because every time I turn around, there's a whole new squadron of Russian or Swedish bots. Oh yeah, quick summary of Generation Zero. 1980 Sweden decided to build army robots, turn against them. They asked Soviets for help, and Soviets try and fail miserably. Oh, so it's based on reality. And I only say that because they went in during the Winter War and basically Sweden said, here's your ass. Or no, wait, that was Norway. But still, here's your ass pretty much the entire way. And it wasn't for the fact that they just don't care about their losses, like Rangers or Marines. And then, the Soviets would have stopped. And don't say too much, guys. I have no problem with the Rangers and Marines. We need shock troopers. It's just the mentality that kind of ticks me off, that they just piss their own guys away. I don't do that. If I lose one of my guys, I take it very, very fucking personal. Just like when we had one guy who's, when I was a recruiter. And sorry, I'm going to go off in the weeds for a second, guys. But when I was a recruiter, we had one kid, he couldn't get in because of his tattoos. And we had this really strict tattoo policy. And he was the first one in his family out of men who couldn't join at the time. Well, his dad, who decided to up and leave his mom, actually called him when he thought he was going to join and was so happy. So was his grandfather. His dad hung up the phone when he said he couldn't join because of tattoos, and his grandfather basically cursed him out. And when we finally got him in, it was about maybe 2 months later, when I took him up to MEPS, I said, you better hope to Christ your fucking father and grandfather don't show up. He goes, why? I said, because you're one of mine, and they friggin' went after you, and that don't fucking happen. And he was looking at me. He actually made a call to his mom and said, you better uninvite them because my sergeant's going to kill him. Oh, he won't do that. I took his phone and said, yes, I will. And put it back to him. He's just looking at me like, holy shit. I was that mad because he was my guy, you know, and just like with a parent, you gotta care, you know, and those of you who are parents, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You'll walk through fire that's singeing your ball hair off and not even care. Just to protect them. And I'm the same way with my guys. If you're one of my guys, I'll do that. Not deliberately burn my ball hair, but you guys get the idea. All right. Let's see. Where was Lenin says, I listened to the Angry Astronaut about 3-Eye Atlas. Most people probably believe it's a comet when in reality, it's not really a comet. There's a lot of speculation on that right now. The only thing I know is that for some reason it changed color. Now that could have been because it twisted a certain way or how we're seeing it. I'm getting so much contradictory stuff. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. That's why I needed you guys' help on that one. Let's see. Guard says, so Sylvius asked Americans to also help Americans and Soviets, and I'm guessing he's talking the game now. And what's left to Sweden to try all, left to Sweden, try all fail. So Soviets say, screw it. We'll release our own robots, thus Generation 0. And the craziest part is barely any of the robots are humanoid. Hell. Just got a clip of me destroying one of their Titans, which looks like a T-Rex, kind of. Me Grimlock. What the? Oh, shit. Human shooting me Grimlock. Ah! I can picture it in my mind. That's why I'm laughing. Okay. Leon says, a week ago, I watched an anime where Android memory fits on something that looks like an 1.44 megabyte floppy disk. Huh. I don't know that one. Demon says, I didn't mind Halo 4 and liked Halo Wars 2, but forget the rest after the bundle era. Yeah, I didn't like Halo Wars 2 for one specific reason. They pulled the focus away from the actual fighting and almost exclusively on the new AI. I'm sorry, but no. Just no. Don't get me wrong. It looked great. The cinematics were great. It played almost exactly the same as the first one. That being said, I was just sitting there going, no. No. They should have just focused on somebody, since they didn't have Forge anymore. They should have just focused on Jerome, the Spartan, and just called it good. Leon says, new season of Fallout TV show worries me. They're all going to tell the story of New Vegas and probably piss YouTube AI. Okay. Chris says, New Vegas was the best broken game ever. Why not? Yeah, Leonid is talking to Demon. Yeah, you pissed off the AI comments. Yeah, I'm sure. Demon also says, just got your email about the videos having no audio. I understand where it went. I looked, the only thing I could see was on the bottom, your mic was shut off. Now, I don't know if that has anything to do with the sound effects. But it might be something worth looking into. Demon also says, I'll look into it and see if I can fix it. Okay. Douglas says, did you get the video I sent? I thought I did. Resend it. Just resend it just to be sure. If it's a duplicate, it's a duplicate. I'm going to look at my media assets here real quick. And The latest one I got was this one. And I don't think that was you. Okay, hold on. My computer's it's losing its mind here. So it's trying to do too many things at once, and I don't think this program likes me. Come on, hurry up. There we go. Okay, now we're good here. Almost. Sorry, this thing jumped on me again. Okay, there we go. Guardian says, I missed a bunch since I had to mute the chat while driving with my foreman and his daughter in the vehicle. Oh, hey, some of the stuff I talk about, I wouldn't want little kids to listen to anyway. So we're all good on that. Lena says, right now, Glitch Animation Studio is better than Disney. That's not a far leap, because I want to look at Disney and say,
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Says their newest anime pilot is really good. Well, the thing is, anime is leaving all the others in the dust. Main reason, some of the manga, when I used to read a lot of manga, and usually I just pick up the first one in a series, and if it was any good, I just kept reading. And all the ones that I thought were really good, they're making into actual animes. Okay, the Farming Life in Another World. I still remember reading that one. That was actually really good. The light novel was explicit in some parts. But anyways, the Ama reborn as an evil world in an intergalactic whatever. That was, they cut out a lot. But I can understand why they did, because that would never, ever pass the censors. I mean, it sucks that we have censors, but whatever. But still, they're bringing the good stuff over the past 10 years and bringing it in. Don't get me wrong. They made a lot of shit manga, but they're bringing in the best ones. Okay, Lena says, the legend says that Master Windu will destroy the army of droids with his fists. I like the reference. I'm tired of these motherfucking droids on this motherfucking planet. Okay, Erica says, in my opinion, there's no dark or light side of the Force, just your intention on how to use it, just like magic. That is true. Okay, that is very true. Now, the thing is, to have balance within said Force, you need to understand the entirety of the Force, which means you must understand what is dark, what is light, and of course, what is gray. And that's one thing that they refuse, because both sides want to stick to their own dogma, because it's easier to control somebody, even though control is an illusion. It's a word we made up. It doesn't actually work. However, you are right, and I've always said that the dark and light are two sides of the same coin. Your job is to find the center so that coin stands straight. And you're right. Magic is, and any other power, has no actual malice to it. However, if you have power without passion, it's just like having power without principle. It just doesn't work. If you have power without passion, you're nothing but a powerful robot. If you have power without principle, you are a out of control machine gun. So, Bite Me's here. I don't have any really good sounds for Bite Me right now. Oh, but I know if somebody hears Bite Me, they would say, giggity giggity, giggity goo. Stick around. And everybody's saying hi. Let's see. Lena says, are you going to use rules of acquisition in one of your stories? I could. I'm going to write that one down, rules of acquisition. On a certain one with the goods, perishable goods, I could have used that one. You know, once you have their money, you never give it back. Or my favorite, never, the whole speech that actor did where he's like, I forget which number rule it was never pay more for an acquisition than you have to. And he actually solves a war using that. And it's just the way he does it is so good. I'm sorry, you give him the other guy who's supposed to be a spy and oh shit, who's maybe the doctor. You put those guys together and you just got magic. Absolute fucking magic. I mean, they're just good actors. Of course, the guy who plays the doctor has to play it very, very wooden, which I don't like. I've seen him play other roles where he really gets a lot of passion in it. But yeah, I could do that. No problem. Let's see. Guardian Sage says, if you do a deep dive into Star Wars lore, then you realize that the major issue with the Sith isn't what they can do, but how they go about doing it. That is true. That is very true. For them to actually, I mean, some of the just goofy shit that they do reminds me a lot of the way the Russians were, you know, where you had to take care of this animal. Sometimes it was a bird, sometimes it was a pig, sometimes they tried puppies and that was bad. But you took care of this thing all through basic or whatever training, and then the last thing you do is put a bullet through its brain. You know, that will fuck you up something fierce. But it will show you who is just a hardcore killing motherfuckers. So it does have a purpose. I just don't like it. Demon says, my God, got another mouse. It's been a few weeks since that last one. We deep cleaned on everything where they are coming from. Get that little scratchy around. Yeah, the best things to take care of the mice, as far as I've found, is it's kind of a liquid gel pack. You got to rip off the end and leave it there for them to eat. And that's very, very, very toxic. If you have a cat or a dog, do not put those out. They will lick it. They will die. But how'd you get the mouse? Would you shoot it with a pellet gun? Guardian says, especially when you look into when and why the Dark Jedi broke from the original Jedi and became the Sith. The original Jedi were actually not called Jedi. It was Jedi or some shit like that. It was, or Jedi, or you know what? I can't even pronounce it right now. But yeah, they broke away. And according to the lore, at least what I was told and what I understand, the reason why they went after the Sith is because the Sith had shown that when they embrace their passions, they grow in a lot of strength. But there was only a few of them. So they were able to be overrun with numbers. Did they do bad things? I'm sure they did. Okay, Doe says, with regards to 3-Eye Atlas, as long as it's on its current trajectory, I am not too concerned. Now, if it slows down and alters course, all bets are off. You are 100% correct. And at that point, we're launching missiles up towards that son of a bitch, and we're going to try and knock it as far away from this planet as possible. And honestly, I know a few people that'll be ejecting their way out of there because if you are around there, if you're around anywhere where that thing's supposed to crash, well, then
Game over, man. It's game over.
And me personally, I'm just going to get down in the basement, curl up under a blanket and say, wake me when you need me. But yeah. Sorry, playing with the buttons there. Hope that worked out well. Anyways, yeah. If that thing comes down. Now, the thing with 3-Eye Atlas, as far as I understand, it is not a solid piece. When it comes down, it will break apart into many, 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 many smaller pieces. There is a main core, but it's a lot smaller than people think. It's still going to be enough that if it lands where they say it's going to land, then part of California won't be there, but we can lose that part. It's no big deal. The only issue will be it'll fuck up the weather really bad for about 3 or 4 months, and everybody will get super cold. Speaking of which, maybe that's why the fuzzy woolly bears are all solid black, because the smaller the brown band in the middle, the harder the winter. Maybe it knows something we don't. And it's been awfully hot here. All right, Demon says, I didn't like that part of Halo 2 either, or Halo War 2's either, but I liked the Banished and the Flood DLC and stuff. Yeah, the UNSC story did suck, but the gameplay was dog. Hey, as long as you enjoyed it, that's the important part. Hey, I liked Halo ODST. I thought it was a fun little game. A lot of people said they hated it. I told them to piss right off. So to each their own on that, you know. I know some people that want to continue Halo 2 or Halo Wars and just be another focused on that AI. And I'm just like, yeah, you do that, I'm not buying it. And neither are most people. Anyway, Lenin says, Evil Nero is the best AI streaming entertainment for me. Okay, I'm gonna write that down because I have no idea what you're talking about. Evil Neuro. I'm gonna have to look it up. Let's see. Guardian says, unfortunately, most of the Jedi from the time of the High Republic, man, era onwards had long since forgotten where they came from and why. What actually kept the Force in check was the fact that all the Force users would gravitate to one planet and stay there and simply study it. And they were simply trying to figure things out. And they realized that everybody learns things differently. Everybody understands things differently. And that's why it worked. When they started spreading out, that's when everything went to shit. Unfortunately, they started spreading out because people realized that they needed more than what was being taught. And then they looked into the dark side. And yeah, it's a whole big thing. Let's see. Chris says, 3i Atlas is nickel surrounded by a thin layer of CO2 with a measurable pulse energy of 8 standard kilonewtons. I'm reading that. 10 standard nuke plants. Sorry. I had, when I read kilonewtons, I was like, wait a minute, I'm reading it backwards. Plants where it changes course or accelerates. Now, Son R2 is a bigger, faster, and intercepting. What? There's another one? That's bad. Now, again, we do have the technology to knock these things away. But, yeah, makes me a little nervous. Warsniper says, Sin, I understand you like the butts, but the elf is a bit too young looking. You know, elves always are young looking. Have you ever seen what fairies and pixies look like? Even as adults, they look like children. And but yeah, I'll rescind. Let me pull that off so I don't accidentally, let's say, remove from studio. Okay. Now you don't have any butts. I mean, now you don't have any butts for dessert. And everyone's now sitting there like, wait, what? No dessert? What? No. Anyway. Let's see. Erica says, SS Demon, for the mice, get cat pheromones or a mouse frequency thing. There are mouse live traps you can buy. Lots of traditional mouse traps that just use peanut butter as bait. Okay, those snap traps, I've tried those things. They work, but not very well. War Sniper with the... Go with the mature elf instead. I will make sure they are mature next time. The problem is, when I do a butt, you actually have to have the butt. You know, and most of them, if they're mature, you're looking at them from the front because everybody wants to see the 20-mile-an-hour bumpers up front, you know, and that's just how they do it. Yeah, I know you guys are saying buy a cat, but even if I had mice in here, I wouldn't buy a cat. I don't want a cat in the house. Cats are only good for one thing. If you have a lot of grains around, they're good for keeping the other rodents away. But we have enough problems around here without a cat. If I want a cat, I get a cat. I don't want a cat. Demon says, it's been about 3 weeks since the last one was caught. I was going to pick up all the traps after the stream because we have had no signs of mice. Then while I heard the snap. Damn, caught another one. And where's you know what? I took that off my soundboard. Damn it, I shouldn't have done that. I actually had a with the fingers, but like really, really loud. You know, I don't even know if you guys can hear that. Oh, let's see. Lena says, Glitch basically released the new show that criticizes Disney. Disney doesn't want it to be released under Disney because the creator tried to do that. I heard about that. I didn't actually get too far into the site, though. Bite Me says, I'm chronically neutral. I like to leave my options open. Which is true. You always got to find the balance. But the thing is, what a lot of people don't understand is a lot of these philosophies are about finding balance within yourself, and the rest of the world can be chaotic. However, if you still have the balance within yourself, you can handle anything. I mean, that's a lot of what meditation has to do. I mean, I haven't meditated in probably 2 weeks just because my schedule's been so fucked up. But still, that's what it's supposed to be. You don't find balance anywhere except yourself. The nature itself is never actually in perfect balance. It never will be. It's always an ebb and a flow. It's always a cycle. It's just the way it is. War Sniper, they're talking to Bite Me. Last time I tested that, I was lawful good. Chris says, never give Tim the Toolman Taylor power. Because he will always want more power. Yeah. I remember referencing the Toolman in one episode. That was it. Or I should say one story. That thing should have more power. Oh, yeah. Well, I love that more power. Oh, yeah. And yeah, they were writing a new show. That does get old fairly quick. Erica says, Demon, do you have food on a low shelf? Oh, that's on you guys. Lena says, in the original Star Wars, dark side was evil and light was good. There was nothing in between. Except for the civilians being crushed by the two powerhouses going at each other. That's the thing. And again, I know I've said this before, but when those guys land on your planet, you get caught and everybody gets killed in the middle as these guys tear each other apart. And then they want you to choose sides. Well, which sides do you choose? This side that says, if you don't listen to exactly what I say and do exactly what I say, I'm going to slice you in half with a laser dildo and laugh my ass off while I do it, and then I'm going to walk away. Or do you go to this side that says, if you don't do exactly what I say, exactly when I say it, I'm going to slice you in half with a laser dildo and feel absolutely nothing and step over you and walk away. Gee, which one do I go for? I'd rather just roll up my M249 and just lay into the lines and watch them all just try to block the friggin' metal and turn it into molten metal as it splashes into their face and on their clothes, and watch them all scream on the ground. Get this off of me. It burns. It burns. Then I'll just say, now get the fuck off my planet. Of course, they'd probably come back and, force push the planet into a star, but it's better than being their bitch. Let's see. Okay, you guys are still talking about a rat. Erica says, Syntax, what about the black goo creature? Oh, you mean the one that the guy supposedly threw into water and it dissolved? It's one of two things. Either A, it was a very good hoax, or B, it was what some people speculated, it was a type of mold that when it grows and it gets exposed to light, a lot of times it tries to grow too fast and cause it to flick and move a little bit, which is normal. Now, if it's in a place where, yes, if it gets soaked and it gets out in the sunlight, it's going to die. Whatever. I'm having a hard time believing that it's anything worth worrying about. Reason being, the guy was playing with it with his fucking fingers and it wasn't doing anything. He was literally petting it. I'm like, what is this? And yeah. Chris is saying, yeah, black goo tastes really good with wasabi. And there are scarier things in Antarctica. There's horrifying things in Antarctica. Even if only 50% of what I hear is true coming from that place, it is horrifying. I mean, horrifyingly good in some cases, but horrifyingly bad in others. It's just spooky. I mean, we're talking about weapon systems that will turn your insides out and outsides in and everything else upside down in a matter of a moment. You won't even know what's going on. Weapons so strong they can actually shake a friggin' continent into non-existence. Potentially another humanoid species and shit like that. I mean, just crazy, crazy, crazy shit. And it's just, yeah. The potential's down there because it's so isolated. You always have to worry about isolated areas because a lot of times those are used for nefarious shit. There's islands out in the middle of the Pacific that have been used for testing. They are so radioactive and so covered in all sorts of chemicals that are just unbelievably toxic, but it's kept away from everybody so they can still train with this stuff. It's just like, was it the island where they were testing Lyme's disease? And then they brought it over to Connecticut. You know, again, they thought it was far enough away. It wasn't. Demons here saying, I have deleted so many emails that the application is starting to lag and glitch. I don't think that's good. Yeah. Yeah, the thing is it is safer not to theorize anything in Antarctica. However, if we stop critically thinking about things, we turn into automatons, and that will be bad. Why do you think I deliberately make stories that try to get you guys to think? Not only do you get escapism, but you're like, oh, where's this going? Where's this going? I want to see where this is going. And that's kind of the point. I'm just hoping when I finish this chapter of something familiar, you guys don't hate me. All right. Chris says, yes, there are two. Yes, there are two. And no, we don't. Swan R2 is 10 times the size of 3i Atlas and acting the same. Okay. They should meet near the sun where we're blind, October 17th through the 20th. All governments have issued a stand down for direct view of radial telescopes. Okay. Now you have my attention because when those guys start looking close, then you have to worry. Also, one thing, if you see the politicians acting all sorts of sketchy, like they're going to take some time off and all of them, and I mean all of them, doesn't matter what side of any aisle they're on, if they decide that they're all just going to take a sudden vacation, well, everybody's going to worry. And of course, everybody's going to say, now's not the time to panic. What's that line? This is no time to panic. This is the perfect time to panic. And as for me, I mean, I'm just going to be down in the basement watching everything unfold on the news, waiting for the power to go out, and I'm most likely going to have a crackling fire in the background. I will be fine. The only thing is once the ash cloud starts coming down, I got to get on the roof and scrape it off. And by the way, if you guys are anywhere near an ash cloud or anything like that, like say from a volcano or whatever, just remember the number one killer in that area is not magma. It is not a pyroclastic flow. It is not any of that shit. That shit's dangerous, don't get me wrong, but the number one killer is suffocation, because all that shit in the air is powdered cement, concrete, basically. You breathe it in, it seals off your lungs. So just make sure your face is covered with something thick, preferably thick and wet, so it catches all that shit. Because you can get that shit out of your lungs. It's not easy to do, but you can get it out of your lungs. But once it's coated, you just suffocate. And if you get too much of that shit on your roof, guess what? You're going to suffocate under the pressure of all those tons coming down on you. And I don't think anybody here wants to be splat. See, Guard says, I'm getting so messed up in this fight right now. Yeah. Guard says, my dumbass has stumbled upon what is the equivalent of the final boss in the game. And he's got the BS advantage of having little shock components that completely negate any and all my damage. Huh. Thankfully, it only lasts for a short period of time, but the point, I've been fighting this motherfucker for over 45 minutes, and he's just now at 68% health. Well, if you missed that last shot, he'd be at 69.
Giggity giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
Okay, Lena says, I've heard there's a party of 7 comments where 3-Eye Atlas used to be, but those are rumors. Yeah, I don't put too much stock in rumors. At least I try not to. I mean, you always got to keep your ear out for a little bit, just in case, but still. Douglas, my dad always said lawful good in D&D is something with a corncob up their keister, or is someone with a corncob up their keister. You know what? I don't want to touch that one, especially when it has a corncob up its keister, so I'm going to move down here. Leon says, Panty and Stocking did a parody of The Thing and Aliens movies. The result is death by snoo-snoo. Okay, I gotta look into this series because it just sounds funny. It sounds like an adult version of Johnny Bravo. Damn, I'm pretty. Just crazy. Let's see. Chris says, if Jedi invade Earth, I'm getting me a lightsaber. Full automatic panic for them. Yeah, full automatic for sure. I'd love to see him try to stop a full M2 full automatic 50 cal. One of those bursts and they're just, well, they're pink mist. Almost as bad as when they go square up against the Bradley. Any one of those shots would turn them into goo. The thing is, they design their defenses against energy weapons. They almost never go against full kinetics, which is why if you go franchise versus franchise, Star Wars always loses. Gart says, good news for me. I'm pretty sure I'm far enough away that the only thing you can do is spam. It's stupid gas and then ignite it, attack even though it's risky. Okay. So, okay, he's talking about the, okay, the butts with caked up, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to have any butts up here. What? Anyway, let's see. Demon's like, I like cake. Yeah, just be careful when somebody says go eat cake. That's actually a very big insult, especially from Europe, because cake actually refers to the caked on grease inside your oven. That's what they meant, go eat cake. You know, that's a rich person saying you're not good enough for food. So Chris says, also avoid the oil rigs in the ocean. Not all of them are for oil. Really? Sounds like you need to put something else in there. Lena says, another parody episode used so many time travel references, a fusion of Terminator, Back to the Future, and time traveling Tom Cruise parody. Okay, my brain hurts now. Oh, geez. Just, yeah. When you're using temporal stuff, I still remember one of my professors saying, why are you not in my class? You're the only one who gets it. And I was like, yeah, I can't do the math like your other guys can. That's why they don't get it. They can't think in 4 dimensions. It's not in them. And he's just like, oh, okay, yeah, you made your point. And most folks who study that stuff for a living end up going nuts. Just completely bonkers. Anyway, Erica says, Antarctica, suspected home to fallen angels, a human-like race, strange bacteria, strange animals, and many other strange and possibly horrifying things. Maybe that's where they keep all the dragons, you know, what we call dinosaurs nowadays. The thing is that that's one thing that would worry me is if the fallen angels actually got loose. I was always wondering why we went to this reservoir over in Iraq and we were on the far side away from the bridge. Something about that, or not bridge, it was a dam, and something about that area had the hairs on the back of my neck standing up the entire time. And I was just, I don't know, I didn't know what it was. And then other people said, oh yeah, you know, there's a fallen angel buried under that shit. I'm like, don't tell me that. Okay, Demon says, I should really keep up with my emails from now on, so it doesn't get this bad again. Yeah, I keep having to clean mine out. I keep getting stuff. I made the mistake of putting my business email and linking that up with 1 or 2 other things that I ordered online, and now I get spammed with so much crap. Guard says, oh shit, sorry, the thing jumped. Guard says, I have locked it down to 57%. Jesus Christ, it just won't die. I can imagine eating 83 RPGs to the face and then saying, may I have some more, please? Yeah, like Oliver. Chris says, volcanic ash is glass and is basically 10 times the weight of snow. Yep. Because it's so hot, it actually melted the sand into glass. Now, there's much more than sand in there, which is why I just call it powdered concrete. He's not wrong, though. If you don't have a mask or wet cloth over your mouth and nose and goggles to protect your eyes. Yep, I actually have a full protective mask. I picked it up along the way, plus a couple extra canisters. And yeah, that's how I make it through. The thing is, the actual intake valve doesn't get wet enough where it would get clogged. The exhaust is always blowing the other way. So again, it's not going to, it will clog up eventually, just not very fast, which is a bonus, which means when I get up on the roof and I'm friggin' shoveling everything off, I got some time and I don't have to rush and risk falling off the damn roof and then cause even more problems. Demon, Dragon's Breath shotgun, anybody? Okay, all together now. The roof is on fire. We don't need the water. Let those motherfuckers burn. Burn, motherfuckers. And I guarantee at least one of you just went burn at the end. Yeah. I actually did that. One of the earliest ones was Human's Obsession with Fire, I think it was called, something like that. You'll actually know which one because it has a whole bunch of like World War I guys lined up and just flamethrowing over the trenches. Okay, Lena says, I mean, if you watch the Matrix movies, Jedi would deflect those kinetic weapons like it's nothing. As good as Jedi are, they cannot stop multiple projectiles if they don't know exactly where it's coming from. It is possible that they could halt or deflect a single shot. However, if you're going to let loose on a burst, yeah, they're beyond screwed, especially if it's coming from multiple weapons at the same time, because then they're just going to end you. And Douglas says, or Jedi facing a Mark 19 on full auto or a Gatling. Now, the kicker is the Mark 19 round does move slow enough, and with the Jedi reaction, they would be able to actually halt most of those. Their problem would be the fact that when they actually try to halt them, they would set the damn things off. That's one of the reasons why in the cinematics, when they're shot at with like grenades, they try to deflect them away, not actually stop them. But even if they deflect them away, they will explode when they hit the ground. So yeah, that would still work. I believe one of the cinematics for trying to remember. It was when the Sith Empire returned from exile or whatever, and they were on Alderaan. And all day ran around that woods and shot everybody. And Chris saying, frag out. Yeah, that would work too. And there's no way a Jedi is going to know what's about to happen when somebody gets that clacker for the friggin' Claymore. I'm sorry, you're fucked. Boom. That's a brick of C4. If that thing's close to you, you are so beyond screwed. They'll know or they'll realize somebody's over somewhere with a clacker ready to do something, but they'll never see that sucker in the ground. Lehman says, if you watched those American cartoons, Panty and Stocking's dog is a dog from Invader Zim. No shit. Okay, that's interesting. Erica said, instead of oil rigs, mermaid roundup pins. Just a fun speculation and a joke, I'm sure. You know, the whole thing where they were saying, oh no, they're eating mermaids. They're eating mermaids. You need to show me something of an actual mermaid before I believe that. I remember when I was in recruiter school, when they had the whole thing on it was like the Discovery Channel or something, where they did a whole thing about how they found all this evidence of mermaids, this, that, and the other thing, and they got video and this, that, and then they're like, oh yeah, these guys showed up and they stole everything. They showed up in with weapons and they took everything from us, yada, yada, yada. Here's the video of them pulling up. Yeah, a van pulled up and nobody got out. And I'm sitting there like, wow, this is you guys were doing so good until that part. Because then they showed video of, oh, this is the evidence we have. We do have the video of the evidence, but they took everything to include the video. Yeah, okay, whatever. It's just irritating. Chris says, I know the place, and it gets worse if you go into the caves. I noped out when I was there too. Demon says, I have Dragon's Breath slugs and buckshot from a 12 gauge. You know, I wonder how bad Dragon's Breath is. Excuse me, for a rifled barrel. I know you don't use double-aught buckshot in a rifled barrel ever. You will fuck that up so bad, and they'll never shoot straight again. But yeah, it makes me wonder. Lena says, in the video game, you can tell that Jedi use guns with really fast reflexes, like in Red Dead Redemption. Again, there's only so many bullets you can stop. And the kicker is, with Neo in the Matrix, he wasn't in reality. If he could do that, then he could actually halt bullets within reality. He wasn't a telekinetic. He was just wired into the system. He was a program. Basically, at that point, he was hacking the systems and literally just adjusting one little icon in the code telling them to stop. That's all he was really doing. Now, again, if somebody aimed and fired directly at a Jedi from like maybe 100 feet away and the Jedi knew it was coming, it's possible he could pull a Magneto and hold that one. But yeah, there's definite limits. See, Demon says, I went from 10K emails down to under 900. I think my storage problem should be resolved. I hope so. Yeah, what are you taking down? Baby Godzilla? Erica's saying, yep, you got some stories to swap. Yeah, actually, Erica, I don't know if you heard me before, but Chris already sent me something. I just need some more. I need to. Holy crap! What the hell is that? I need to get my printer working right. I'm pretty sure I just have to update stuff. Let's see. Demon says, I'm taking down the fool who breaks into my house. It happened once before. Won't happen again. Gonna snap, snap, snap on him, huh? Chris says, think Saving Private Ryan 400 yards out. The round hits before the sound reaches you. Absolutely. That is 100% true. I've actually heard the snap of a round before I heard the shot before, and that son of a bitch was aimed at me. Boy, that'll add a pucker factor you had no idea you could reach. But you know what? You won't know till you're there. All right, guys, we are down at the bottom of the comments. I'm just going to throw the banner up here real quick. Again, don't forget to like and make sure you are still subscribed. I very much appreciate it. And Erica, I don't think I got your email. Resend it if you could. I don't think I saw yours. But okay, let me just throw up one more media here. And we'll do a long one, but we're not going to do any shooting, but we're going to do some fighting.
Now, hi! Now, hi! Sonic finish desu no. Watashi o tomete minasai. Level 3. Action desu no. Now. Counter desu no. Kochira desu. Now. Overloading barrier! Keskai Hosha! No! Sonic Saber! Oitsuku! Sonic Saber! Sonic Saber! Sonic Saber! Sonic Saber! まだです。イージスブレイド。無駄です。こちらです。フィニッシュです。I'm sorry, Tsubaki, but I couldn't lose this fight. ノエ、ウィンですの。
SS Demon, flawless victory. All right, not too much came in while we were watching that. We just got Bite Me saying that I've always said there's no escape for the Matrix. Zion is just another level of the Matrix to make you think you're free. In a sense, in a way of thinking, I would understand that for sure. It is what it is on that one. I can't put too much onto that because you guys know exactly where that's going. That is philosophy for sure. Anyways, looks like we are pretty much done on here. And I want to say thank you to all you awesome folks out there for helping me out and being here this entire time. I want to give a special shout out to my supporters. That will be Guardian, Brian, MTF Guard, Erica, Demon, Lockeen, Steve, and Prozac and Pancakes. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. And for everybody who is here today, you know what, guys? I look forward to this every week. And I was looking forward to it all day. And thank you, everybody, for being here. And if you have anything for me, feel free to send it in the emails. It is plastered down below. And on that note, take care, everybody. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. Safety brief. If you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, beat his fucking ass. If your little soldier's going in the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. Stay away from the harder stuff. Guys, it ain't worth it. By the time you come down off that shit, you're just going to be wondering, where am I? Who are you? And where are my pants? It's not a good morning on that one. You might think it was a good night, but not a good morning. And aside from that, take care on the roads, guys. A lot of critters now. It is going to be hunting season soon, which means a lot of things are going to be pushed out of the woods to right where your car is going to be. Especially for those of you who run, I've actually known a few people who they've gotten close with a deer almost ramming right into them. Deer didn't even realize he was there. And that's going to be it. Take care, and I will see you all next time on Syntax.